Trailer patch notes. Take a peek. This is the pre-patch notes? What does that mean? Alright, let's take a peek here, guys. Lifeweaver covered that. It's going to really kind of be difficult to figure out what's going on with him until you see him in the actual game and realize if he's OP or not. You can kind of hypothesize some stuff, but at the end of the day, it really just depends on how it all goes together. Some things that obviously I have issue with already is life grip. A lot of people do, and it's not just people throwing people off maps. Rather, it's displacing people that the healer might not actually know what you're doing or what you need to do, and then pull you out of a situation, probably kill you along the way too, mind you, because it doesn't make you invulnerable. I'm pretty sure it doesn't make you invulnerable. Maybe it does. When you get pulled, you're invulnerable. That would be insanely OP if you become invulnerable when you're pulled, though. Can block some stuff, Tree of Life, you know, which could actually be insanely OP. Let's go down into the actual stuff where you can have context on it because we actually played the game, so Lifeweaver is just kind of in his own little walled garden for the time being until I actually see him in practice more. So, let's take a look at the other options here. Stranded spawn system. We've talked about this since the launch of Overwatch 2, which is... we need Charles here too, so he can read for you guys. I also need to get my coffee. Here, so this is a perfect coffee moment.
Google Cloud.
Got Charles now. Okay, I'm gonna grab my coffee, guys, and then start off here. Okay. Let's take a look at the game. So, Stranded Spawn System. We talked about it since the beginning of Overwatch 2. Mainly when you're stuck in spawn right after they capture a point and push. And you're literally in the spawn. So they kind of address this. I literally just said that they should allow you to choose when you spawn. Imagine being able to choose when you spawn or which spawn, and then people can pick and choose whether or not they want to go to the new spawn or not.
Stranded spawn system. Regrouping with your team after getting stranded in a spawn room has never been easier. Spawn rooms that shut down due to capturing or losing an objective will now remain partially active for 7 seconds. While you still can't change heroes in these spawn rooms, other new features have been activated. In these stranded spawns, the doors remain locked to the opposing team, the healing field remains active, and you can now use the interact key to instantly teleport to the new active spawn room.
It's a lot of work. For all they had to do is literally just allow you to choose when you spawn, but you know, that's Blizzard for you, so that was too easy. Just being able to pick when you spawn is too fucking easy, so they had to make a whole system out of it, and then take 4 seasons to do so. So here we are.
Matchmaking. Backfilling. Players in unranked modes will now prioritize finding players closer to the skill level of the other players in the match. Minor optimizations for large groups, improving matchmaking quality.
Yeah. Yeah. Pre-mades definitely throw a wrench into things. That's why in Overwatch 1, you weren't allowed to play against pre-mades at higher, or pre-mades weren't allowed to play against you at higher MMR. Now you can, because Blizzard knows that stomping on noobs sells skins, so here we are. That's basically the takeaway from it, is, they could disallow that, but just like in Dead by Daylight, where they heavily side with survivors, in Overwatch, they side with pre-mades. Because groups of friends having a jolly good time, which usually involves just shitting all over people, sells skins. So, yeah, here we are. As it turns out. And they know if pre-mates played against pre-mates, that wouldn't be fair at all, right? No, as it turns out, that would be relatively fair and not fun, and that wouldn't sell their skins. So, yeah. Whoever decided that, especially in comp, that you should play against pre-mates and masters, yeah, you need to go get checked out, dude. That's, yeah. And it's, the pre-mates go away in grandmasters, but grandmasters can still play against masters who are in groups together. Yeah. And masters are very close to GM. That's like one step away. You wouldn't want just to give the whole team an advantage or some way, right? Yeah. Competitive updates. Eligibility. Interesting.
Top 500 leaderboard eligibility. Players will now be required to win 25 competitive matches before being eligible to enter the top 500 leaderboard for a specific role, queue, or region. Developer comments. Previously, we only required 25 games to be completed regardless of winning prior to becoming eligible for the top 500 leaderboards.
This is going to change much of anything.
This change should help make sure that players are consistently pushing toward winning matches, which should help ensure the leaderboards have the best players in each region.
You're still going to end up with people squatting, basically leaderboard squatting, and essentially they only play at the end of the season, or they only play for placements, and then they don't play again because it's not your highest. You don't get rewards based on your highest. It's like based at the end of the season, your ending rank. So you just basically get as good as you're going to be, and then you stop playing that count. Yeah, that's probably not where you want to be in terms of a healthy ecosystem for your game, but that's where we are right now. So. Hello?
Competitive lever penalty changes. Matches left in different competitive queues are still considered separate for purposes of determining the lengths of suspensions or receiving a seasonal ban from competitive play. The start of a new competitive season also no longer fully resets the severity of these suspensions and bans. This should hopefully prevent players from leaving competitive games at the end of a season without facing meaningful consequences at the start of the next. Matches left in competitive play will also have a more negative effect on a player's skill tier and division after a 5-win competitive update.
I'd agree with making people like timeout and possibly penalizing them. I don't agree with just reducing their MMR if that's the case. You could reduce their rank and still make them play with high MMR squads until they've reached some threshold. To me, that's what they're inferring. Until they reach some threshold, but I hope it wouldn't actually infer that their visible rank is affected and their non-visible rank, which is what the matchmaker's based on. The hidden The hidden MMR is also influenced. I hope it's just your visible rank if that's the case. So you aren't playing, you get like a top 500 that leaves a bunch of matches and he's playing with diamonds or some stupid shit like that. I don't even think you need to leave a bunch of matches to play with diamonds though, so. Okay. Moving along.
Competitive point reward changes the number of competitive points, CP, rewarded for a win in competitive play has been changed from 15 to 25. The number of competitive points earned from seasonal challenges based on your final seasonal rank has also been updated. Games played after your last competitive update during a season will still count towards your final seasonal rank. You must still compete in the season's competitive play qualification challenge to receive bonus competitive points. Ending in bronze will now earn 300 competitive points, previously 65.
This is for the reward system, I believe.
Will now earn 450 competitive points, previously 125. Ending in gold will now earn 600 competitive points, previously 250. Ending in platinum will now earn 800 competitive points, previously 500. Ending in diamond will now earn 1,000 competitive points, previously 750.
So this mainly helps the people on the low end to kind of incentivize them to keep trying. Gold and silver, bronze and silver are like the walled garden. That's where the training wheels are on, and it honestly feels like they should just have different game balancing in bronze and silver to get them out of there. So like gold, I believe, is where everyone starts, and bronze and silver you have to do even worse to get down to. Surprisingly, there's no wood tier, but it feels like there should be a wood tier. It's not like the metal ranks continue past platinum anyways, so. Like the theming.
Competitive challenge titles. Seasonal competitive titles earned from challenges now distinguish between whether they're earned in open queue or roll queue. For example, ending in diamond rank in open queue will earn a diamond open challenger. Title ending in
open queue is a joke.
Will earn a diamond roll challenger. Title
why is there even competitive for open queue? I don't know. Why does
about a player's rank from the previous season?
Why is open queue even a thing in the game? I don't really know. Why is it a major part of the game? Right? I've talked about this before. This game really lacks a casual game mode. Open queue, like it would be better if there's deathmatch. Open queue is like it shouldn't even exist. The game, especially after it swapped to Overwatch 2 with what they did to tanks, it's not even feasible anymore. It's not something you could consider balanced in any way, shape, or form anymore. It's just a shit show, and it's not even fun. I wouldn't even say open queue is fun. It's just broken, and it's just bad. It's like Lucio Ball. It's like having competitive Lucio Ball would be more interesting and have more meaning than open queue. Competitive Lucio Ball is a better form of competition than open queue is. That's 100% true. But yeah, as I mentioned before, this game needs a casual mode and it needs a skirmish mode. Not like skirmish in the game, but something between competitive and something between casual. It needs some sort of relaxed competitive. I know that's hard to imagine, but something where you play for less points so people can queue for it and not really give too much of a shit. You lose less points and you gain less points. So it's just whittled down and something that's designed to be less intense than like actual competitive. I know it sounds kind of convoluted, but it's not. It actually makes a lot of sense if you have people that just kind of want to queue, but they don't want to be in like the ultra hard-ass game, which is basically what quick play is right now. And then there needs to be a casual game mode, which we've talked about since Overwatch 1, since time began in this game. I've mentioned this game does not have a casual game mode. Quick play is not casual. It is a shitty version of competitive. And that's basically what it is. And because you play basically half a match, depending on how it goes, and it's not really a way to blow off steam. This game needs like a 10v10 or maybe a 12v12 with just longer objectives, so it takes longer, the push rate is slower, and it's more grindery, and then you can have multiple like duplicate picks, but of course you could still do like, tanks, DPS, and support, right? TDS, and then pick your ratio of those two, because obviously you wouldn't want everything to be open queue, because open queue sucks, because the game's not made for it. So like maybe 2 tanks and 5 DPS and 5 support, or 3 tanks and 5 DPS and 4 support, because supports are actually really fucking powerful compared to DPS. It probably depends on how fast you want people to grind into each other and die. And this idea is actually to make people just die over and over and over again. It's like Team Fortress 2. Exactly like Team Fortress 2. The idea is for it just to be a random shit show that people can enjoy and have fun in, rather than whatever the fuck quick play is or whatever the fuck open queue is. And once again, it's not the same. Open queue is not remotely balanced. It's not fun. When you make things more grindy, it is less dependent on a single person on the team, and it's more interesting. But yeah, Blizzard desperately tries to stay away from adding more players, and I guess even going back to 6. I don't even think you can make 6v6 anymore. Like, it's not actually a game. Anyways.
Competitive match rank. The initial loading screen that shows all the participants of competitive matches will now show an icon at the top of the screen representing the average skill tier and division of all players in that match. This should provide players with a better comparison of their own rank to other players in the match.
Cool. Some people were asking for feedback by making it so it's easier to see private profiles, and I think that kind of helps without actually weeding anyone out.
Seasonal rank decay removed. Starting with Season 4, a player's competitive play rank will no longer be reduced at the beginning of a season.
I think they talked about this earlier.
The effects of this reduction of rank from previous seasons will also be removed. Depending on how many games they played during the previous season, most players will see their skill tier and division increase. A player's skill tier and division at the beginning of Season 4 will now closely match the matchmaker's estimate of your current skill. Developer comments: the previous seasonal rank decay was causing considerable confusion for players, who would see players in their competitive games who did not appear to be of a similar rank. Often these players were actually of similar skill, but they had not played enough games during the season to compensate for the initial decay.
So, we talked about this before. I think they've mentioned this, and the one thing I brought up is whether or not this is your visible rank or this is your MMR rank. I think this is both, but they don't differentiate because in the MMR dev blogs where they talk about the matchmake system, they said there's two different systems. There's one which is your visible rank and one which is the MMR, which is what your games are based on. This is the one that really matters. And this should actually reflect this and be the same thing, but they aren't. They literally said they have two different systems here. And they don't always differentiate between these two systems, and this is another case where they are not differentiating between the visible rank and cosmetic rank, you could almost say. The visible rank and the hidden MMR value that matches are based off. I think this is both, but it might not be both, because they don't stipulate that it's both. So, we'll hope it's both, because that would make more sense, right? Excuse you.
Competitive skill update and progression. Both the competitive progress and competitive update screens will now include information about a player's losses and ties as well as their wins. The competitive update screen will also now provide players with an indication of the current percentage progress within a skill division. This will hopefully make it more clear how the results of games played during the update affect a player's skill tier and division. It is possible for players to have a positive win-loss record, but not go up a skill division because the progress occurs entirely within a single division. This new message will allow players to see that they did in fact make positive progress, just not enough to reach a new skill tier or division. There is also a similar message with competitive updates for players who are Grandmaster 1, but not yet on the top 500 leaderboard. This should provide those players with feedback about their progress towards earning a spot on the top 500 leaderboard.
So I've mentioned this before. A couple things. The 515 or 720 as it used to be is a way of obfuscating their new system because it takes into account more than wins and losses. It 100% does, because there's people that go up when they lose a bunch of matches. There's people that go down when they win matches. So it's based on weighted criteria from a bunch of different factors, as one above, which was you leaving matches, apparently influences your rank, but that could just be visible rank, which is what I'd hope. Is what I'd fucking hope, but maybe not. But anyways, the 720 system was there to obfuscate the weighted system, because if you knew what caused you to go up in rank, people would game it, right? Regardless of being a positive influence on your team, people would figure out how to game it. And like, let's say deaths are heavily weighted in it, people would just not, they'd be risk apprehensive and just not try to go in and die. They'd try not to be me. Yeah. And which people are anyways. There's huge risk apprehension to dying regardless of the fact, not saying you should just run and die, but rather you try not to die no matter what, and that actually can hurt your ability to progress in the match. That's actually one of the reasons I think death should be removed. It rewards the wrong behavior, because people at the end, when they look at your stats, for some strange fucking reason, only look at your deaths. I've outperformed the tanks and everyone else on the team, and people will go, oh, you have like 3 more deaths than everyone else, and like that for them is what you did in the game, is your deaths. That's it. It's not performance. It's not heals. It's not limbs. It's not damage. It is literally, and there's a couple of worthless categories in there, which is assists and mitigation. It is literally your deaths. And that's not where you want to be, because it's not even KD. It's not even the number you kill compared to the number of your deaths, or ED, eliminations deaths, right? Which is technically assist, but it's not assist because the game has assist, which I don't even understand how it work. As I mentioned before, that's otherwise the game should have total damage received. We'll just go over it again. The game should have total damage received, which should include mitigated damage. It gives you an idea who's receiving a lot of damage and how good of a job the tanks are doing. This should also include things like mitigated damage, as in the RPG term, which includes not just absorb damage, which is shielding, but also includes mitigated damage through armor. So if you absorb more damage than normal, it's your total raw damage score. And the game doesn't have that. That should replace mitigated damage. The game should remove assists, and limbs should become assists, and then it should add killing blows, which are your ability to finish someone off when no one else is attacking them, like within a second or so. So you are literally the only person shooting at them, chasing them down. Killing blows matters a lot. It's not in the game. You can't see who has killing blows in the game. You can only see limbs, which are essentially assists, and assists don't even make sense. Death should definitely be removed, and then there should be a new category, which is healing received, so you can see who's receiving heals from the healers, because that matters. And also, self-healing should be removed from the game in terms of the stat, not your ability to self-heal. But if you self-heal yourself, it should not count towards your healing. So, and it does. It does. TikTok Moiras are self-healing a lot, and that adds to their healing score, and that's not what you should see, because it doesn't help the team. But I guess at the same time it does, because they're mitigating damage, like they're absorbing damage that otherwise would have been meant for their team, so maybe they are helping. But at the same time, they're letting their DPS die, so. Anyways, tangent done. This rewards progress. The other thing, anyways, we're talking about reasons they don't show you your progress. The other one is, if you see you're actually doing negatively, it influences your fun factor in the game. And the idea was that people just aren't supposed to be on the seat of their, on the edge of their chair, just clinging to, oh God, am I going up in rank? One of those things. And people, I guess, prefer knowing that they don't. And I don't think they do. I think people don't know what they want and just assume they want to see this because it aggravates them that they can't see it because they might have went up. But the other option is they probably went down too. So they might have went up, they might have went down. And both those things are something you don't want to know, right? If you don't have positive progress. So, yeah, there's a reason that they didn't show you your status update. Anyways, hero updates. Let's go through them. They nerfed the armor on Reinhardt, increased his base health. He's been overperforming. Reinhardts are not overperforming, at least what I've played with. I mean, you see occasionally good ones, but they aren't something that overperform. Sigma. At creation, which I think is Q. They really need to put, when they do abilities, they need to put the letter here. Because a lot of people don't know the name of the ability, but I'm pretty sure this is his ultimate. If you put Q in here, you'd know immediately, which I think League of Legends does, if I remember right. Other games do that. Impact damage reduced from 60 to 40. 80 damage total with explosion. Knockdown increased 0.8 to 1.1. Like Rodog's Chain Hook, Sigma's Accreation, and Primary Fire combo can be highly lethal and feel like a guaranteed kill against 200 HP healers. Maybe this is his rock. Maybe that's his rock. It's his rock. It's not his Q. Yeah, it's his rock. Okay, that's rock throw. Yeah, one other reason that there should be a letter there, because I'd know it immediately it's not his Q if it had a letter here. Yeah, so this is his rock throw. Good job. They nerfed it because it felt a lot like Roadhog's Hook. They returned Cassidy to a 200 HP hero, which he needed. There's a lot he had going on. Damage reduced from Magnetic Grenade from 131 to 120, so he can no longer one-tap you after... If he hits you with a single shot after a Magnetic Grenade, you die. And that's very easy to do. It's very, very easy to do. It's almost a guaranteed instant kill. Now it's down to you have to hit a headshot and a body shot, which will still be possible, but it's not as bad as it was. Yeah, and it's still probably a fucking guided missile. Like, I would have no problems with him being able to double tap you, like to combo you, if it was just a grenade. It's not. It's a fucking and then it sticks to you, or aerial explodes like a piece of fucking flak and does 65 damage, regardless of it never sticking to you. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I would definitely be more for if it was a skill shot as opposed to nerfing it and making it less useful or not useful. I mean, it's still going to be useful, but less useful. If it actually involved you throwing the sticky grenade on someone. Come on. Please, what? Like, is this something for console players? Like, do they need the fucking aimbot grenade and you literally just. This is a console concession. Is this a console concession where they're trying to make an aimbot grenade? Yeah, you need his health reduced. This needs to go. This should just be a sticky grenade, and they could probably even keep it at 131 and make it a sticky grenade. An actual grenade, not a guided missile, an actual grenade. And it's not. Sombra EMP can now disable Blizzard. Oh, okay. Yeah, once again, I mentioned this before and someone didn't believe me. There's other things other than Sombra interacting with Orissa's Q that she can't do, and I guess now she can turn off EMP, or turn off Blizzard, because Blizzard needed a nerf. Because May needed a fucking nerf. Uh-huh. All right. So, supports Sleep Dart maximum duration on tank heroes reduced by 30%. Oh, it actually is affected by the tenacity buff or the reduced CC that tanks have. Oh, okay. I guess I missed that one. Yeah. While Sensu Bean on Kiriko is broken in a lot of reasons, Anna is still has the overall strongest kit in the game as far as everything she has going for her, the biotic grenade and sleep dart, which is actually a stun / incapacitate, because if you hit someone and they immediately get attacked, there's a 0.5 second window for the beginning animation. If you get attacked during this animation window, you will not wake up. And after you're on the ground, you have to get hit again and then you'll wake up. There's a 1 second window in which you can't do anything regardless being a player, right? You are stunned for 1 second during the 0.5 second animation at the beginning, the 0.5 second animation at the end when you wake up. You are stunned during that, and there's nothing you can do. That's regardless of the incapacitate effect, because it's just a stun. Yeah, it's basically 2 in 1. So that's kind of a big deal, but that's actually part of her kit. And the biotic grenade's a 4 in 1, which is it stops healing, it increases healing, it heals, and then it also does damage. Yeah, very strong. But anyways, moving on. All the supports are incredibly strong now, and it's just not all of them, but a lot of them are very. And Lily Patman or Pedalman is probably gonna be broken, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Bridget now gains 100 restorable armor health pool for the duration of rally. So she gets a little bit of buff to health when she starts rally. No longer gradually builds up temporary health like your nearby allies. Rally now upgrades her barrier shield, increasing both the size and health. Interesting. So more like a little Reinhardt. Barrier health increased from 300 to 750 during ultimate. During rally, shield bash now impacts multiple enemies and briefly stuns. What the fuck? Bonus movement speed reduced from 30 to 15%. I mean, that's not going to matter because people can't run away. That's actually, 30% is really fast to begin with. Repair pack, range reduced from 30 to 25 meters. I never really, like Bridget, like we've seen her before, and I don't really think she's bad. She was a bad pick, and they buffed her health packs, and then she was alright. And I've seen Bridget's do relatively good comparably to other characters on the team, like Lucio. I would even see she needs the right comp. She needs to be able to hit people, though, for inspiration. If she can't hit people, that's a problem. They could change that though, and they could make it so if she hits people with her mace. Actually, I don't know if inspiration activates on her mace. Maybe it's all of her damage dealing abilities. But made it so she can spam her mace, her long throw mace, and more spam it, and then like reduce the CC on it. So it's something where she can actually get her AoE heal off without being near people, just not as well. Okay. Mercy. Uh-oh, did they undo the Never Die Mercy? That looks like healing per second increased from 45 to 55. Healing is no longer increased for allies under health. Yep, it looks like they undid basically the OP healing from last patch. They reduced Guardian Angel to 1.5 seconds again. What? They completely undo it? Jump and crouch cancel active ability state duration increased from 1 to 1.5 seconds. No longer cancel the jump crouch. I believe this is for Mercy Tech. Can no longer be interrupted at the beginning of the cooldown early. Port roll passive healing is now active for the duration of Valkyrie, which they nerfed before. What? However, the overall rebalance of the healing values received significant negative feedback both from those playing on Mercy and those playing against it. She was better than she was prior to the buffs, though, or the nerf to Mercy. And it's particularly the Guardian Angel nerf that really fucking mattered. Which looks like they're undoing. That's really fucking weird. I guess I don't know enough about Mercy Tech to understand what they're doing here, but it seems like they're trading off one for the other, so it's still basically it basically be the same cooldown. I don't feel as though that's the case though. Mercies are still fucking hard as shit to kill. I don't know why they'd ever assume that Mercy needs to be buffed again, except for the fact there's a loud vocal Mercy main minority, I guess you could say, in this game. Maybe a majority. There's a lot of people that play Mercy. And regardless how good she's doing, they always think she needs buffs. At the beginning of Overwatch 2, there was people that thought she needs buffs. There were literally forum posts about it. I posted it. It was like 90 pages long. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see on this, but this looks like they're just changing her back to the way she was. And that's not where you want to be, so. But big problem with Mercy was the Guardian Angel problem. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't completely understand this change, which involves a Mercy Tech. But it actually looks like they just buffed her back to what she was prior to the nerf. There wasn't a satisfying middle ground where we could reduce the potency of this effect while still having it feel impactful, so we're reverting it. Okay. They buffed her Valkyrie. I think that I've legitimately saw videos where they said Mercy's nerfed again. Or just one on my feed. On my Twitter. Yeah, it might have been on my Twitter. Okay. Moira can now be activated during Coalescence, so her Uber ability. She can now activate Fade, which she didn't need. Because why does she need to fucking have the ability to fade away when she's a glass cannon? Moves slower now. They increased her heal from Biotic Grasp. TikTok Moira's got buffed. Basically. Map pools are disabled. Phenomenal. New map, Atlantis? Atlantis will be playable for a limited time during April 25th to May 1st. Oh, it's a deathmatch map, I guess. Arcade map. Okay. Cool. No maps for comp, though. They changed the lighting. I fucking hate the stylization Overwatch. You guys have mentioned this before. It's one of the worst things in the game. Is where everything... It's why I have to change around my fucking color blindness settings, because it is very difficult. The red blends in with very late or very early maps where the whole map looks orange. It makes red outlines blend in with it. And then blue ones, the whole reason I turned off blue when I went to teal is because when you play the Arctic maps with snow on it, your fucking allies blend in with the snow. Yeah. And when things are too dark or too light, it actually you have to have a certain color brightness, otherwise they blend in with everything around it. There's some weird shit. There's fucking weird shit with the Overwatch 2 stylization. It's not nearly as good as Overwatch 1 still. So they just changed a bunch. Good for them. Workshop projectiles. Three projectiles now. Okay. All right. Fixed a bug that allowed Ash to gain ultimate while Bob was active. Okay. Yep. Just use your ult to get even more ult. Okay. Bug or exploit. They can be one and the same. Fixing a previous update fixed a bug where Cassie's Deadeye not taking armor mitigation into account, which resulted in killing a blow before the enemy was marked with a skull. Fixed a bug where damage from Deadeye could be multiplied, requiring the same target before Deadeye was completed. Fixed in a previous update. Okay. Guess they didn't document it. Just make Moira easier? Yes, they made her TikTok Moira even stronger. TikTok Moira even stronger. Used to call it Reddit Moira, now it's TikTok Moira. Workshop is abandoned? Yeah. Cassie nerfs are a joke? Yep. Heat exceeding missile, although 200 HP is where he should be anyways. Yeah. Let's take a look at the Reddits here and see what the response is. The critical response from the critics. Alright. Hero Bouncy aside, I'm so glad we got rid of the map pools. Maybe I won't play Callisto 3 times in one season. Atmospheric ambient sunset. Ambient. American Fade while using Cobra. Looks cool. Q? Obviously you're Q, but what? Duck Moira buffed. Her healing numbers are up, but she has more impact survivability during coalescence. Seems like she might be the ideal pick, balance out. Lifeweaver is low healing. It actually kind of feels like her orb, her damage orb, should actually cause Mortal Strike. It should make it so you can't be healed while it's happening to you. So you have to get out of the radius and like maybe have it linger for like a 0.5 seconds after it stops hurting you. So like she has a technically healers are getting so fucking OP. I don't want to go to the Mortal Strike. We've talked about this before, guys. If you go to the World of Warcraft Mortal Strike, there's a time in World of Warcraft in which basically almost all classes needed Mortal Strike because the healing got so out of control. You couldn't kill anyone without a Mortal Strike. A Mortal Strike reduced healing by 50%. The first character to get it was Warriors, where they had a Mortal Strike and you had to basically you had to have a warrior in your group if you're PvPing in order to deal with the fucking healing. I think that was in Burning Crusade. And it was absurd. It was absolutely fucking absurd unless you had a healer or Mortal Strike in your group. And then in Wrath Lich King, I believe they added basically Mortal Strike stuff pretty much every class. So, yeah. And then I think in Kata is when they finally addressed the fact that their healing was absolutely out of control. It kind of feels like we are reaching the point now where healing is becoming out of control, which I wouldn't mind so much if the healers didn't also do insane amounts of damage, depending on which one you're picking. So, yeah, not like a Zen either. Zen has a pretty big trade-off for damage. Some of these other characters do not, like Kiriko or Moira. Yeah. So, like, where Zen, it was more damage-oriented. Like, if you're picking little spikes on directions for your character, what he's going to be good at, Zen's, better at damage and debuffing. But as the downside being, he doesn't really have much in the way of healing, right? Yeah, but now they're just making them good at fucking everything, so I don't know why. It's like they don't understand how to balance their characters, or maybe they just want healers to be insanely broken, which I'm also not sure why. Not enough people are talking about spawn changes. Push is still going to be a walking simulator. 7 seconds is not enough time. It's just people that are getting hamstrung out. Push sucks compared to 2 CP. Starting a tank on cooldown isn't hard, and it's really very powerful, needed to change. Sleep Dart in general needs to change. Hoping they would rework Cassidy and his grenade, not completely nerf it. Well, rework his grenade, not Cassidy. It's kind of late for an engagement, because it's 12 hours ago. That's still alright. Find? I'm fine. Yeah. Why don't they just turn it into a sticky grenade? Don't know. Alright. The balance changes, thoughts on Brig ult. Oh. She seemed like she got a lot of buffs. I don't think she needed to. She just needed a way of more consistently doing healing, excuse me. As we talked about with the mace throw. Every Cassidy's dream. Teal's a pretty good color. I thought about using teal before. Hey, Jewel. Am I doing pretty good? Just covering the Overwatch patch notes right now. I don't think I tried teal mainly because I like keeping blue as my ally color. I went back to red after doing magenta, because magenta for some reason feels hard on my eyes. Like it feels too oppressive. I don't know why. Very weird. Maybe because it's really easy to notice. Official Season 4 roadmap. Bob and Weave. Don't care about workshop stuff or arcade. Lifeweaver. Star Watch. Limited time event. Comic and game mode. Don't care about a comic. Battle Pass. Don't care. Battle Pass. Metro challenges. And then arcade mode. So basically it's the new hero. And then the patch notes, which we just covered. For trailer, I think we watched it already. Junker Plane cosplay. Oh my god. No. No. She is not nearly ripped enough or has the right physique. No. That's a tough one to pull off. No. Stick to divas. A couple really ripped chicks, but they're very few and far between. I thought we were going to see one of those, like, bodybuilder-esque types. Alright. Anyways, we're going to turn this into a highlight, guys. And put it on the tubes.